Boy, outfit's fire. Oh, what's going on? A PG show, pretty good. Five and oh. Logan Paul. You say he getting inducted? I don't know what that was. Oh, Paul Heyman.
I will always be loyal to my best friend in the world, CM
Damn,
Punk.
yo,
Never,
this whole
ever
that's
be
crazy.
disloyal to either.
All right, Paul Heyman.
Thanks, Paul.
We are 15 seconds away from the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony for Peter Rosenberg.
Man, this whole
and Byron
time you guys
Saxton.
was lit.
I'm
That's
Jackie
crazy.
Redmond. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the speeches. Enjoy the show. It's been a pleasure. See you later.
My name is John Cena. I'm a kid who grew up in a small town in West Newbury.
Ruthless
Aggression.
The champ is here! 2025 will be my retirement from the WWE. Thank you so much for letting me play in the house that you built for so many years.
John Cena's going to WrestleMania and an opportunity to win a 17th world title.
Cody Rhodes, if you become my champion, I can open up doors and possibilities for you that you never knew existed.
I gave my soul to these people a long
Time ago. But that's crazy. I had the audio muted. That's crazy.
Hustle, loyalty, respect.
After everything he's accomplished in his career, he's going to stoop to this.
You want some? Come get
Get
some.
some.
What is best for business is I main event WrestleMania. You can't see me. What is best for business? I never back down, and I never quit. I win a 17th championship. The champ is here! For 25 years, I've been the victim of an abusive relationship.
For 25
I don't
years.
need you anymore. For 25 years, you only care about yourselves. I don't care about you. At WrestleMania, I make history. I will win that championship and retire with it.
17 does not happen. But what does happen is I get the heartbreaking privilege of beating my hero in his last chance.
You with that disgusts me. All you have done here is ride the coattails of my success. You sat by my side for years and stole every secret. You are a common fan like them.
I was chosen. But you know who chose me? They chose me. John,
The
I
people.
am standing right here. I am holding this above my head. At WrestleMania 41.
The last real champion is taking
17 does not happen.
I am going to ruin wrestling for everyone.
This stays with us.
Here we go. The Hall of Fame ceremony begins forever now. Together forever.
The biggest stars of the sports entertainment world are here tonight on what has become one of the most important nights
Charlotte.
and a staple of WrestleMania weekend. Welcome to the Blue Live Theater on the Las Vegas Strip. This is the 2025 WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
I ain't trying to tear up, man, so let's see.
What does it take to be a WWE Hall of Famer? To ascend to the pinnacle of perfection. To reach a destination of profound reverence. To immortalize a legacy that will live forever. It takes passion.
I go into that ring every night for moments like this.
Dreams.
This is an example for every man, woman, and child. Get a dream, hold on to it, and shoot for the sky.
Fearlessness.
I'm here to stay, I'm not ready.
Excellence.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, it's true.
It's damn true.
Attitude.
For a nicer guy, it couldn't happen. We got 2 words
For ya. Suck it.
Fast, but bad guys do.
Greatness.
Andre, the challenge. What you gonna do?
Tonight, it's all about the game and how they've played it.
We gather to honor some of the most iconic figures in the history of WWE.
Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You've got to quit to end the match.
Standing before you right here is the total package, Lex Luger.
Lex Luger.
I've ever seen in my life.
One of the best pure athletes in the history of the women's division, Michelle McCool.
I'm so grateful for the fans. They're the ones who got me here, and they're the ones that just keep us going.
Michelle McCool.
You feel the wall shaking, the crowd quaking.
This gigantic hunk of humanity, the natural disasters.
I am the game, and I am that
Damn good. Ready.
Tonight,
Let's go.
we proudly welcome the class of 2025 into the WWE Hall of Fame.
And now, WWE presents the 2025 WWE Hall of Fame.
Christopher, how you doing? I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And you are looking live on the Strip in Las Vegas. This is
A little watch along. I don't know if you're watching the Hall of Fame. I don't know if it's on YouTube or not. It might be. I think it is. But yeah, I appreciate it.
Stores galore, and tonight we're live in a sold-out Blue Live Theater.
I don't know why it didn't pop up, but
Out of the icons that have built the WWE. Hello.
man, I can't wait, man. WrestleMania, the Hall of Fame. Who this?
Are you
Michael
guys
Cole?
ready to have some fun here tonight?
Michael.
I'm Michael Cole. He's Pat McAfee. Welcome to the 2025 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The
Hey,
past,
Cody
the
Rhodes.
present, and the future. Superstars are here tonight and their families. We welcome you. All the WWE fans who have
Okay,
sold out
yeah.
this
You can
place.
watch along if you
Spend the
want.
night with us in Las Vegas.
That's
Sold
what you
out
probably
here tonight
doing.
at the Blue Live Theater. Thank you for coming, and of course the millions watching at home around the world.
That's right. Tonight is such a magical evening of celebrating the icons who put this business on their back and trailblazed their way to make this company to be at the place where it is today. Multi-billion-dollar deals. The whole world pays attention to the WWE. And tonight, we will celebrate those who helped pave the path to here.
You know, my journey to the WWE was probably like a lot of yours. Young kid growing up in upstate New York in the late 1970s.
Oh, shut up, Michael Cole.
Allowed me to stay
and
up
dunk somebody already
on a Saturday night to watch the old WWF on WOR Channel 9 in New York. Fast forward to 1985, freshman Syracuse
You said WWF,
University.
that's crazy.
I bought
Let's
a
go.
ticket, wandered down the street to the Landmark Theater, and watched this event on closed circuit called WrestleMania. 12 years later, 1997, I began my now 28-year journey here in WWE.
Hell yeah, Cole.
I've done just about everything. I even had a match at WrestleMania. I know, at least I had one, right? But the biggest thrill of my entire career has been able to sit behind that desk and provide the soundtrack to your great moments and matches throughout your career. And I am honored and humbled to be able to do that. From the Booker T's of the world.
Yes, sir, man.
Quack, quack, Booker T.
Yes, sir. I like Michael Cole, man. Michael Cole and JR was something different.
Pauls and what he is accomplishing.
I said Michael Cole and JR. What am I talking
He
about?
thought he was going into the Hall of
Michael
Fame
Cole
tonight. I heard
and
you
JR.
just moments ago.
To Tiffany Stratton.
My favorites.
The world champion.
Tiffy time.
Yeah, even Dirty Dom.
Oh, Dirty Dom. In the building.
But when Pat and I got a call 2 weeks ago, and we were asked to host this ceremony for the very first time, we jumped at the chance because tonight is by far the biggest honor of my entire career.
That's right, Michael Cole, and getting an opportunity to not only be amongst all the legends that built this company that all of us love, but much like your story, when I was a kid, I went down to the neighbor's house who had a black box and we stole the pay-per-views. And since then, I have been absolutely infatuated.
Yeah, I love Pat McAfee, bro. This dude is different.
We enshrine some
He's like a real wrestling fan.
Forever. Yeah, let's start with our first inductee. To me, he was the poster man of the 1990s, a two-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
He actually tied one time in a win at the Royal Rumble.
And he also main evented SummerSlam. In a nutshell, he was the total package.
That's how we starting off. Let's
a generational athlete carved from stone.
And that's how you start off, though, with the Hall of Fame. Let's go.
Top 5 physique all time.
This baby is for real.
That's a cyborg.
Rhodes and Luger circling.
A genetic marvel who faced the finest and helped lead the transition into a new era.
He had all the tools. He was the total package.
A career spanning over 2 decades. Lex flexed exceptional raw talent.
Lex is my kind of man.
Mixed with the guidance of one of the most experienced factions in sports entertainment, this budding star quickly evolved.
The new United States champion.
Lex Luger has won the World's Heavyweight Championship.
It's crazy because I think back in the days,
Lex parlayed that popularity right into WWE.
Me and everybody else just a torture rack because of Lex Luger.
Those pecs.
The greatest specimen walking on earth. Narcissus Lex Luger.
The total
That set the wheels
package.
in motion for one of the most memorable stunts in history. A cross-country tour of America.
You know, part of my childhood is remembering the Lex Express.
However, The All-American's biggest highlight came when he ditched the highway for the Skyway.
Arriving by helicopter on the USS Intrepid, Lex Luger!
Confronting this 500-plus pound world champion that no mortal man could slam.
Yokozuna could not be slammed.
Boy,
slammed on one of our
boy,
warships.
slammed
Lex
his
Luger was
ass.
America that day.
The debut edition of WCW Monday Nitro.
The total package sent shockwaves through the wrestling world, transferring back to familiar turf.
Lex Luger was instrumental to the success of Nitro,
leading to one of the biggest moments in WCW history.
Torture rack on Hogan. I remember that.
An emphatic statement in an outstanding career.
Lex has covered every aspect of this business.
And now, we have a special delivery for the total package, Lex Luger.
On behalf of WWE, we would like you to be part of the 2025 class of the WWE Hall of Fame.
Wow.
You gotta stand up, give a hug.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Give me a hug, buddy. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, now here to induct
DDP.
Mr. Luger into the Hall of Fame is a three-time WCW World Champion and a man who has changed countless lives around the world with his DDP yoga.
Including Lex Luger's life. Ladies and gentlemen,
please welcome the Hall of Famer, Diamond Dallas Page.
Yes, sir.
It's me.
It's DDP. Woo! Hey. Yo, it's me. It's DDP. Bang!
Bang! Yo, it's me. Good evening, everyone. It is me. It is DDP. And I can't even begin to tell you how honored I am to have been asked for a second time to induct another one of our brothers into the WWE Hall of Fame. Tonight, we're not just here to celebrate the impact that Lex Luger had on our business, because believe me, that alone would be enough. Tonight, we're also here to honor a transformation, a rebirth. The story of a man who lost everything the world told them mattered, and yet somehow came out on the other end stronger. When Lawrence Fole came into this world, it seemed like God gave him every gift in the book. He was handsome, he was strong, and he was fast. At 270 pounds, Lex was running a 4.640. Whether he was on the gridiron with the Miami Hurricanes or in the pros of the CFL, USFL, or the NFL, Lex has always been regarded as a physical specimen, even among giants. So when he stepped in the ring in 1985, you knew Lex Luger was going to be money. By 1987, he joined forces with a legendary four horsemen, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and the Nature Boy,
Woo!
Ric Flair. From the NWA to WCW to the WWE, Lex carved out a legacy. As the narcissist, let's just say Lex never saw a mirror he didn't like. But he wasn't just looks. When the 568-pound Yokozuna seemed untouchable, you just watched it right there on the screen. Enter the Lex Express, a nationwide tour that rallied fans from coast to coast, and Lex was getting better known than butter and toast. All ending on the USS Intrepid, where Lex snatched the big guy and body slammed him in the middle. Fast forward, September 4th, 1995, at the Mall of America, a night that would change the world of professional wrestling forever. Now, I believe that Lex was supposed to be on Raw that night. Ooh. But he no-showed. Why? Well, because he's a disruptor. And he had a shot to be on the debut of
WCW.
Monday Night Nitro. And my friends, that was the first shot fired. In a new era of professional wrestling known as the Monday Night Wars. During his career, Lex made waves and created memories. But for all the legends that he faced in the ring, nothing compared to the battle he faced outside of it. In the 90s, we lived like rock stars. It was a lifestyle that could chew you up and spit you out. And for Lex, it nearly destroyed him. And as the story is told, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. As crazy as it sounds, I was there that fateful night that Lex became a quadriplegic. I hadn't seen Lex in over 5 years. But on that day, God put me in that room. I had no idea my buddy was completely paralyzed. I helped the EMT put him in a gurney. Lex had lost his physical gifts from God. It's a story that's more far-fetched than any wrestling angle. The amazing thing is, if you ever get a chance to talk to Lex about it, he'll tell you it's not a tragedy. You see, Lex realized that real strength isn't something you show in the spotlight. Real strength is something you build in the shadows. You see, Lex just didn't survive that fall. He let go of his ego and surrendered to something much bigger. He found purpose in pain. He chose faith over fear, hope over despair, conviction over regret. Lex realized in a world that can often seem so divided, if we could just focus on building each other up instead of tearing each other down, our impact will echo far beyond our time.
Facts.
If anything, it shows us that even in our darkest hour, there is always hope. So let tonight stand as proof that there is always hope. Tonight, we honor the legend of Lex Luger. But more importantly, we celebrate the man that Lawrence Fole has become. Tonight, I present to you the very first inductee to the class of 2025, one of the most humble human beings I've ever known. He is my friend. He is my mentor. He is the prodigal son. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome WWE Hall of Famer, the total package, Lex Luger.
Is he gonna stand? Oh shit.
All right. Now, the best part is, please be seated. We had to call it audible at the last minute. I took a bump getting from my Uber car into my wheelchair at the Atlanta airport yesterday. We had a longer walk planned, didn't we? It was a longer walk. But I'm standing for this. Damn. Yeah! Yeah! Get up! Hallelujah. Man, what a journey. What a roller coaster ride. From the penthouse to the jailhouse to no house, living out of a hotel. Man, what a journey. If you'd asked me 20 years ago that I'd be standing on this stage going to WWE Hall of Fame, I would have said, you're out of your mind. I thought I was toxic. I thought I was radioactive, that I'd never have anything to do with the wrestling business again. Man, here I am.
You deserve it, man. You deserve it.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once been lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. I'd like to thank all my friends. This guy is something else, man. He is relentless. So, all my friends out there who have hung with me and supported me and been with me, even when I was unlovable, I want to thank them. I want to thank my family who's always been with me. I want to thank that jail chaplain I met, Pastor Steve, who led me to the Lord on April 23rd of '06. And prior to that, a little story about I want to thank the fans. When I got out of jail, thankfully for the last time, Pastor Steve always pulled into the Walmart parking lot. I always asked me if I'd come in. I go, no, I'm good, man. And so finally, after time, he said, hey, Lex, how come you won't come in the Walmart with me? I go, the old Lex said, man, Pastor Steve, I don't do Walmart. I shop at like Saks Fifth Avenue and all that stuff. So finally, just to satisfy, I went in, and I was a guy who wrestled, but didn't really grow up watching wrestling. So I was a wrestler who didn't really, I didn't get the fans. I thought they're like, I thought you all were out of your minds. I thought you all were crazy. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. But I finally walked in that Walmart for the first time in my life, and it's a time when I felt unlovable in my life. I didn't care. I was living out of a hotel. I was doing my community service, cleaning out dog cages and cat cages, and I didn't care if I woke up the next day, to be honest with you. Now, I'm not saying it's down, but man, I had pretty much given up hope. And you, the fans, in that Walmart, finally, Pastor Steve said, you want to come in? I go, all right, I'll go into Walmart. The love and the commotion and just that the fans showed me in that Walmart was absolutely amazing. It gave me hope. It gave me a light. And I want to, wrestling fans, now I've gone full circle. I've gone from a wrestler who wasn't a fan to I'm a big wrestling fan now. The things that...
That's how it is, man. Shit.
The things that this generation, you guys are doing is absolutely mind-boggling. The athleticism and where WG's gone as a company is just, it's a global phenomenon. I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm glad to be up here. I mean, my family, I want to thank them. They've always been with me, no matter what. I'm so thankful for them. Pastor Steve, who walked me to the foot of the cross in that hotel room April 23rd of '06. Thank you, Steve. He was there when I got for my salvation. He was there for my ordination. He was there for my recent marriage. So the trifecta. So thank you, Pastor Steve, who married me to my beautiful wife, Robin. I'm just so thankful. I'm just so grateful. And most of all, I talked a little bit about Cody when he dropped the bombshell on me at Dee's house. My mom was very low-key about my wrestling career. And every year she said,
why the hell Paul Heyman looking at him like that?
She passed recently. And my mom always would say, do you think they're ever going to put you in that Hall of Fame? I go, I don't know, Mom, maybe someday. So, Mom, I hope God's giving you glimpses for now. We made it, Mom.
Yeah.
And I'll see you there. We can celebrate together in heaven when I get there. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
That was amazing. Amazing. Deserved that shit. He deserved that.
Well, quite the emotional moment.
Getting the ring.
Tonight, Triple H presenting the Hall of Fame ring to Lex Luger. Ladies and gentlemen,
come on, man, get that dude another 100 more years, man.
Main event of the Hall of Fame, a man that has meant a lot to Pat and I and also to all of us in this room. Triple H will be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir.
An absolute legend, obviously. Goes by a lot of names. You know, he's the cerebral assassin, the king of kings. Some of us call him, from his original name, Terra Rising. And speaking of Terra Rising,
nobody
Michael
calls
Cole
him by
decided
that.
to do a little bit of that whenever he wanted to play cosplay as Triple H in the past. We're going to go to the Padistrator, please, to showcase this man showing a little respect
Michael Cole
to Triple H.
playing that
Now,
Triple H.
whenever you see this, understand that this is not a professional athlete.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
This is a man who just wanted to show a little bit of love. Go ahead and play that thing, because what
God
we're seeing here is a
damn,
guy
that
who
boy
knows
thick.
he's in the middle of an arena he's not supposed to be in, and he knows
He was
he's
drinking
not
a
right
lot
there.
that time.
Bang! Those tights ain't ever had a situation go like that right there. Never. You got little baby pecs, you're not doing too bad there. But what you're about to do out of your mouth is gonna embarrass you and your family forever. Everybody knows the spray. Play that thing. You're spitting all over yourself. An oral cream pie to your face.
An old cream pie to the face.
Who are these people on your back? And how mad are they that this is the first time they're being seen?
God damn.
One kid upset, two kids upset. Dad, put a shirt on. You look like an Play it, please. He says, don't you worry about it, kids. It's only going to get worse. You know, all these professional wrestlers, they're able to get up on the ring with ease. Not your dad. I'm going to break my hip and my back.
Not your dad.
Get my fat ass up here. Triple H, pause. That's what it's supposed to look like. Right there. Easy comparison with this thing going on. Your little baby cheeks and your little baby tights go on to squirt all over your face yet again. Play.
God damn.
And everybody in this arena will remember the evening that they were terrorized by a guy honoring. Pause. Pause. Look at that flavor saver you used to have. Where's that thing at?
God damn.
Where's that at, Cole? Anyways, we love to pay tribute to Triple H because he's a legend, and even though it might be disrespectful, that was in honor of him, correct?
Yeah, it was. I got better, though, at SummerSlam.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time water comes out of your mouth, everybody thinks, oh, this guy's just the next Triple H. Yeah, it is obviously a fantastic evening. We cannot wait to celebrate Mr. H at the
Bailey, what are you laughing at?
Oh, shit.
Paul Heyman, you look a little lonely out here, bud, didn't you there?
Yeah, how's everything going with the tribal chief?
Yeah, well, just kind of all by himself down here, sticking out like a sore thumb. Big
He's sitting as a Seth.
Cody, great interview tonight with Cena as well. Really good. Hey, tonight we are also going to honor those who've paved the way for us, obviously, throughout this wonderful genre that we all work in, who've made an incredible mark on everyone in the history of the business.
That's right, and we have the Legacy Award is what we give out, and we have our first recipient, and I'm going to be honest, this man scared the absolute hell out of me.
Kamala, A superstar with an immense presence. The Ugandan giant spoke with potent force. 6'7", over 400 pounds.
6'7"?
And if that wasn't intimidating
I
enough,
never know that. That's crazy.
how about the way Kamala competed?
I mean, you think big and you think strong. I remember it was like, oh, big fella.
A very high threshold of pain, a very unorthodox man, a very dangerous individual indeed.
Terrifying, unpredictable, daunting. Kamala was unique.
It was just awesome. It just worked.
He is big, he is mean, he is vicious, and so far, nobody's even come anywhere near and given him any kind of competition.
An unsettling sight for opponents who had never experienced anything like him.
Kamala is the toughest test Hulk Hogan has ever had since becoming heavyweight champion.
Behind all the body paint laid the heart of a warrior. And now Kamala is immortalized, a member of the 2025 legacy class of the WWE Hall of Fame.
Please help us welcome Kamala's wife, Jean Harris, who is here tonight.
God damn. I was about to look so young.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next inductee, it seems like just yesterday that she burst on the scene here in WWE. A three-sport star, and she was actually a school teacher in Florida and part of the inaugural Diva Search.
Not only a part of the inaugural Diva Search, she's the first ever Divas champion and also the first ever Diva and Women's champion whenever she unified the title. Also a stupendous tag team wrestler with the team Les Cool.
Indeed. Let's take a look at our next inductee.
Michelle, Hall of Fame season is upon us. And I would like to tell you right now that you into the 2025 Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
When people think about the Divas era, I think they think about Michelle McCool.
She was one of the few that broke down the boundaries of not wrestling like a diva.
She was athletic, strong, she was gritty.
One of the top women's superstars, Michelle McCool.
Her very name evokes confidence.
Michelle McCool!
Michelle often kept her cool, helping the All-American girl become the first ever Divas champion.
Michelle McCool has made history.
And four-time women's champion.
Every time that she went out there, she made the most of every moment.
Michelle was a mild-mannered middle school teacher, till one day she accepted a friend's dare to enter the 2004 WWE Diva Search.
I'm not one to take big leaps like this, but it's something I've always wanted to do and just did it finally.
You are moving on to the final.
Talk about a crash course. Michelle went from hitting the books to hitting the ropes. And it wasn't long until the former teacher was schooling opponents.
I think Michelle McCool could be the best all-round athlete in WWE.
Michelle shot to superstardom, even ending up back in a classroom of sorts.
You're absolutely right.
No surprise she graduated with honors.
Eating.
Number one.
That's the same spot Michelle's tag team claimed.
Well, of course, we all lay cool.
That's a good point.
One of the most successful women's teams ever, lay cool.
Then another partner came along. The Undertaker. A marriage made in heaven and hell.
By no means did I want to meet him in person or in a dark alley, or never in a million years thought I would marry the guy.
She's truly been a blessing. I don't really know where I would be without her.
Just reach in here. All I have to do is pull.
And isn't it appropriate that Michelle has become a teacher once again?
Watch this.
What began as a dare is now an unforgettable journey. A driving force from the Divas era to the women's evolution.
She's a trailblazer, a true leader.
Thank goodness this McCool was too cool for school.
You don't go from school teacher to a WWE superstar. I think she was just fearless.
I just don't think people understand how amazing I really am.
WWE proudly welcomes Michelle McCool into the 2025 class of the WWE Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, here now to induct Michelle McCool into the class of 2025 Hall of Fame is a fellow Hall of Famer.
A fellow member of her household.
It's
Undertaker.
her husband, Pat.
Bingo.
Ladies and gentlemen, The Undertaker.
That shit is dope. I like that. I thought a boy had a haircut looking real good.
All right. Let's settle down. Look, it's Vegas. It's Friday night. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Thank you. It's always nice to be back in front of the WWE Universe. Yeah, that's y'all guys. That's you. But tonight, I'm not here as the Phenom. I'm not here as the dead man. No, I'm not.
You say, yes, you are.
Tonight, I'm just Mark. Or
somebody yell, say, yes,
before
you are.
Even say it, Stephanie. I'm a husband and a father.
Hey, Linda there. Linda McMahon, that's cool.
One of the greatest people that I've ever known in life and in this business. Michelle didn't walk into the WWE with a famous last name or a promise. She came here with her working boots on and something to prove. She didn't ask for anything, but she went out and earned everything. Man.
We crying now.
She was so strong-headed that when we first got together, all right, now you know she chased me for months. Finally wore me down. Anyway, that's my story. Anyway, she says to me, "You will never speak on my behalf." I'm like, okay. And she meant it. And I have to admit, I was a little taken back. So, not knowing really what to say, I clapped back. Well, when I do speak, you better listen. That's right. I think it was about 3 months before I could eat solid food again. She was the first Divas champion, the first woman to hold both the women's title and the Divas championship. She was one half of the iconic Team Lakewood.
Bella Twins there.
A team that redefined what it meant to be bold, to be fearless, to be heard. And let's be honest, they made being mean girls, they made that cool too. She was a pioneer before the women's evolution had a name. She carried the weight of expectations, of disrespect, of people calling her just another pretty face. And she flipped it on them every time she stepped between those ropes. But the most amazing thing about Michelle, it's not the titles, it's not the camo gear, the Uggs, or even the promos or classic matches. It's who she is when the camera isn't rolling. First and foremost, she's a woman of faith. She's a mother who leads with love. She's the strongest person in our family, and I say that without a hint of hesitation. She picked me up when I couldn't get off the mat. She made me a better man, a better father, and a better person. Michelle stepped away from the WWE still at the top of her game to be something even more important to her, a mother. But even in her time away, her fingerprints are still all over the women's division today. And let's be clear, without Michelle McCool, a whole lot of women would not have gotten the opportunities that they thrive on now. And we all know that our women's division is smashing it. So tonight, I get to do something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. Babe, you're more than a Hall of Famer. You're a legend. You're my best friend. And you are, without question, the toughest, classiest, fierce woman I have ever known. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the pride of Palatka, Florida, my wife and your newest member of the WWE Hall of Fame, Michelle McCool.
Hey, Michelle McCool. Yes, sir. She deserves it like everybody else does.
He told a few lies. I might have to switch things up.
Told a few lies?
It is wild to me how some of the biggest moments just sneak up on you. No music, no build-up, no heads-up, just boom, there it is. And for me, it takes me back to one particular moment. It's 2004. I'm in the backseat of my parents' car. It feels like just another normal afternoon. And then my phone rings. It's a 203 area code. Connecticut, WWE headquarters. My pulse kicks into overdrive. My heart is racing. And yet, I let it go to voicemail. Instantly, I flash back to college, holding a Tough Enough application I'd carefully filled out, stared at for weeks, and then tossed in the trash. I was scared. Not of the work, not of the dream. I was scared of failing. See, wrestling, it wasn't just entertainment in our house. It was sacred.
Yes, sir.
It was family. It was bonding with my dad and Pap. It was yelling at the TV and staying up late on Monday nights. Wrestling was serious business in the McCool household. So months later, I'm watching Monday Night Raw, and something called the Diva Search pops up on my TV. I figure, what the heck? Take some photos, send in the paperwork. I don't tell a soul, and I wait. Because if no one knows, no one will know if I fell. Fast forward to that day in the back seat. My nerves are shot. I press play, and I hear, Michelle, we loved your photos, and we want to see you in New York City for the Diva Search. In shock, I start giggling uncontrollably. My parents turn around, puzzled smiles on their faces, wondering, what is going on? Have I lost my mind? Maybe. Or maybe I just found it. Because at that moment, somewhere between the voicemail, the giggles, and the disbelief, something clicks. I realize my life is about to change. What if I'm enough? Not just good enough, not just tough enough, but enough just as I am. This may be my story tonight, but it's your story too. You are enough, period.
Yes, sir. Amen. Amen on that.
So tonight, I'm taking you outside the ropes to share what I like to call my flawless finishes. The first one, literally learned the hard way. It's Thanksgiving, 1985. I'm 5 years old, sitting at the kids' table, surrounded by my older brother and 3 mischievous cousins. They decide a food fight is a good idea. And of course, I'm the innocent bystander. Flawless, remember? Then a dinner roll smacks me square in the face. Chaos erupts, my dad walks in, court is in session. Guess who gets blamed? Me, the baby. I get the look. Y'all know the look? Yeah, the look that says, I'm in trouble. I grew up in a time where spare the rod, spoil the child. It was put into practice. So, my dad gives me a slight pop on my hand, and in my sweetest yet toughest 5-year-old voice, I look him right in the eyes and say, that didn't hurt. So, he pops me again. And again, I say, that didn't hurt. By the third pop, slightly upgraded, I finally break. That hurt. I'll tell you what that moment taught me, though. And it stayed with me from the kitchen to the canvas. Grit doesn't mean you don't feel the pain. It means you keep showing up even when it hurts. That same grit carried me into every arena I stepped into. Night after night, match after match, I had to earn my place all over again. And the titles, guys, the titles, they don't come without scars. But those scars prove you fought. And more importantly, they prove you didn't quit. Life will often limit your opportunities and challenge your voices, but it can never limit your fight. That part is up to you. And once you're back in the fight, that's when the real challenge begins. Because the higher you rise, the louder the noise gets. Which makes me think of another flawless finish. Ignore the noise. Now, I don't know how many of y'all were around during the Divas era, but things weren't always easy. Honestly, I can't think of a single time they were. But I do love a good fight. It's Lay Cool versus Natalya, one of my favorite rivalries. At one point, y'all, we were literally told, pull your punches, they look too good. What do you even do with that? I'll tell you what I did. I kept my head down, I remained quiet and confident, and I worked harder than ever before. Eventually, we got rewarded with the first ever women's tables match.
Yes, sir.
The noise said, tone it down. But my heart said, fight harder. Because in wrestling and in life, people will always have opinions about who you should be and what you're capable of. But the reality is, what you tolerate is what you validate, and not every voice deserves your attention. If I had listened to every critic, every voice that doubted whether women belonged in the ring or why I was even here in the first place, I might have surrendered. Had I surrendered, I would have missed moments like standing across from an 87-year-old Mae Young, and yes, I was terrified, who looked LayCool dead in the eyes and said, I demand a no disqualification match with these two hussies. Let's go, you little brats. Y'all know she didn't say brats, but Hall of Fame speech, so we'll keep it classy. Here's something I tell myself often,
God damn.
and especially these past few weeks. Don't let the noise around you drown out the truth inside you, because your calling is bigger than their commentary. My last flawless finish, failure isn't fatal. I'll be honest, I hate failing. Always have, probably always will. But never wanting to burden anyone with any struggles that I have. Many of you may not know that I've dealt with severe kidney and liver disease for over 25 years.
God damn. I didn't know that. For over 25 years? God damn.
Returning from an overseas tour, one I don't remember to this day, I call my parents from New York and I simply say, I'm sick. Again. By the time I land at the airport, they're waiting. We go straight to the hospital, and I'm admitted. I don't leave for 16 days. 16 days of hallucinations, 16 days of nobody knowing what's going on, not even my doctors.
Yeah.
But thanks to those hallucinations, I wasn't alone in that room. See, Tori Wilson's sweet face was on every ceiling tile. Matt Hardy's head was mounted like a deer coming out of my AC vent. John Cena, Big Show, they were guarding the parking lot. Chavo Guerrero was fighting everybody in sight. I was literally calling Charmel in the middle of the night asking for my toothbrush. Layla was sneaking Diet Mountain Dew in for me. And apparently, according to my mom, all I talked about nonstop was, take her, take her, take her.
Yeah.
Not sure I believe that one, but okay, Mom. Back to the hospital. My family is scared. My doctors are stumped. But somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, my stubborn subconscious keeps whispering, this is temporary. Little by little, I fight my way back. And from that hospital bed, I discover a life-changing truth. Failure doesn't end your story. It's what defines it. Because every great comeback needs just one thing, a fall worth fighting through. Tonight, I stand here a small-town girl from Palaca, Florida, who, despite dreaming big, would have never imagined being inducted into the 2025 WWE Hall of Fame. I find it no coincidence that today is Good Friday, the day my Lord and Savior sacrificed it all. The sacrifices made inside the ring and all around the world, they will always hold the most special place in my heart. And some of the most meaningful moments, they didn't just happen inside the ring, they happened far beyond it. Standing in war zones on Tribute to the Troops tours, locking eyes with kids in hospitals where strength takes a different shape, cheering on Special Olympic athletes who define what it means to fight with joy. Those are the moments that changed me. Because real power isn't found in the spotlight. Legacy isn't a title run or a main event. Y'all, it's how you treat people when there's no spotlight at all.
Facts. Facts. That's true.
WWE Universe, thank you. Through every setback, every evolution, you showed up. Y'all are the reason that I continued to make that walk to the ring. Real talk, I normally ran to the ring because we only had 3 to 4 minutes start to finish, but you get the point. You cheered us, you challenged us, and you stood by us when the world barely looked our way. So thank you. WWE, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for giving this small town girl a chance to live out her dream. To my incredible WWE family, Tori Wilson, thank you for your endless friendship and your beautiful soul. Charmel, no questions asked, I've got your back, even in a Philippines mall. Lisa, thank you for all the laughs and reminding me to have fun in the moments. Natty, thank you for never backing down from the fight and doing it with humor and humbleness. Fit Finley, thank you for being our voice and fighting for us when nobody else did. Kathy Morrell, John Cohn, thank you for being the literal glue that holds everything together. Steph, thank you for being an amazing leader, but more importantly, a friend. Layla, my little yes.
Damn, that's
my little
tough.
flawless British bestie, my partner in crime, my better half, the yin to my yang. Who would have thought that two complete opposites would fit so perfectly together? I absolutely adore you. And I was thinking we could always rewind, run it back one more time. I don't know what y'all think, but
Yes, sir. One more
I'm
time.
just saying, it could be flawless. Mom and Dad, thank you for instilling grit, strength, and unwavering love. Jeff, thank you for always having my back, whether I asked you to or not. My sweet Kai of faith, in a world full of noise, be the quiet confidence. Know your worth, trust your sweet little soul, dream big, work hard, and fail forward. Keep your heart open to his whispers, lovey, okay? Be unapologetically you, because you, baby girl, are more than enough.
Yes,
Cole
sir.
Compton, my boogs. Your laughter lights up my world. Never let circumstances define who you are. Prove people wrong and prove yourself right. To you both, I love you the most. The end. I win. And to the love of my life, my dear husband, Mark. I've got nothing. Just kidding. You are an inspiration to so many people, including myself. And despite the lies you told earlier, your persistence, the way you chased me for so many months. Impressive. Not taking no for an answer. Impressive. And the way you finally got me to cave and say yes, even more impressive. But seriously, I love you with every ounce of my being, and I thank God every day I get to call you my husband. You are my rock, my protector, my soulmate, my whole heart. I absolutely love you, babe. And for the record, yes, ironically, my theme song says, "You're not enough for me." I came to love that. It sounds just like the world. All the doubt, the noise, the voices that try to tell you you're not worth it, I used it. Every time my music hit, it reminded me to stand taller, fight harder, and finish stronger. Not just for me, but for every single person who's ever been told they weren't enough. So tonight, I leave you with this challenge. When the world tries to break you, grit, don't quit. When the noises around you doubt your strength or worth, ignore the noise. And when setbacks seem overwhelming, remember, failure isn't fatal because the girl in the back seat, the one too afraid to pick up the phone, she answered it anyway. And she discovered something undeniable. No applause, no status, no title will ever define your worth. She finally believed she was enough. And believing it, truly believing it, that changes everything. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. That was a good speech. I like that. That was real good.
And congratulations to Michelle McCool earlier today, immortalized with her Hall of Fame ring presented by fellow Hall of Famer Triple H. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen, tonight at the sold-out Hall of Fame. We have plenty more to come, including the induction of the game, Triple H.
But we got a commercial.
A warrior forged in honor's fire.
I'll be right back to get some drink.
Calloused hands and heart's desire. He traveled far through lands unknown to claim the throne that he had grown. His every step a sacred oath. To teach hard work is all you're worth. His soul is tempered by the fight. For truth and virtue guide his might. He pushes to prove that greatness must be earned. That honor lights the flame which can't be burned. But here, a new challenger stands, born to fortune with golden hands. No battle scar, no humble stars, just riches fueling his hungry heart. Traditions call, he casts aside, his soul adrift in selfish pride.
Logan Paul, I'm standing right here in the middle of the ring. We know what you want. You want that big money match with Logan Paul. So how about this, buddy? Why don't you set your sights a little higher?
Logan Paul and AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
And now they meet, their eyes are set. The grandest stage where dreams are met. The crowd will roar, lights will blind. As these two collide, their fates entwine. One fights for honor, one for fame. Each with a vision, yet none the same. For in this clash the world will see which path in truth leads to victory. Beneath the sky, the setting sun, a million hearts will beat as one. One will be left standing. The other shall fall. This is the tale of AJ Styles and Logan Paul.
That's gonna be a good match. You know they about to do a crazy stunt.
And welcome back to the Fountain Blue Hotel on the Strip in Las Vegas. This is the 2025 WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony. This brings us to our next recipient of the WWE Hall of Fame Legacy Award, a man who revolutionized a new style of professional wrestling.
Hardcore, the word that defines Dory Funk Sr., both in the ring and out. Dory's toughness, legendary, popularizing the Texas Death Match.
A Texas Death Match is a bloody, no-holds-barred fight to the finish.
They say that I'm as mean as an old sidewinder rattlesnake from Texas.
Dory transformed from a hard-nosed hellraiser to a prominent promoter for the Amarillo-based Western States sports.
He helped shape the careers of many wrestling legends.
But perhaps his greatest legacy, raising and training his two sons, Hall of Famers Terry Funk and Dory Funk Jr.
The only pair of brothers ever to both hold the world's heavyweight championship.
Dory's dedication to the industry never wavered. And now that legacy lives on, joining his sons in the hallowed halls, part of the 2025 legacy class of the WWE Hall of Fame.
Thank you to the WWE Universe. The Funks are together again.
Is he still alive? That's crazy.
Please help us in welcoming the family of Dory Funk Sr., Dory Funk Jr., and Stacy Funk, granddaughter of Dory Funk Sr.
Oh, he is. That's him, right? That's crazy. Bro, still alive.
Faces here tonight. My old friend Haku. I see him out there. How you doing? Damian Priest. Big match tomorrow night at WrestleMania.
Becky Lynch is here.
Becky Lynch there?
And of course, Seth. Anyhow, we're here, of course, to celebrate Triple H and his induction into the Hall of Fame tonight. We have a very special package that was put together by Tom Rinaldi from Fox Sports to celebrate the game.
The game.
I'm so mad we can't get a couple more years of wrestling, man.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley. The different identities, the varied stages, but for Paul Triple H Levesque, there have been three constants through the journey. Passion.
There is nobody that eats, sleeps, or breathes this business more than me.
Persistence.
Uh-oh, that's not good. Triple H barely able to stand.
Purpose.
Welcome to WrestleMania!
Start with passion. A bodybuilding phenom who was Mr. Teenage New Hampshire, Paul was prodigiously strong when he started training with the great Killer Kowalski.
The first bump I ever took in a wrestling ring, I fell in love with it.
That spark would only spread as Paul built a career that would take him through characters.
I am Jean-Paul Levesque.
And eras.
Jean-Paul Levesque.
Get a nice shot of the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
From rivalries.
There's room for only one man at the top of the mountain.
To championships.
Triple H! Yes! Triple H! Triple H has realized his dream. He is now champion!
Finding a way to do it all. With a flair for the moment. A zeal for the matches. A love for the game. In the highest moments. And the hardest. That's when he showed persistence.
Rest in peace, Bray.
Often he could have stopped, in 1996 after the infamous curtain call at MSG.
This goes back to the clique. This goes back to Madison Square Garden and saying goodbye to my friends.
Every old-timer, they were mortified. It was against everything they ever stood up for in a business.
Passed over and punished for doing what no one had done before.
I was supposed to go from winning King of the Ring into a huge program with Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship. You know, that's gone.
He came back, even bigger.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game.
He could have quit in 2001 after tearing his quad in a tag team match.
Planted my leg as I hit him and it just popped. You know, couldn't really stand by. I finished the match.
Finish the match?
Yeah, probably wasn't the smartest thing in the world to do, but...
Impossibly, in just 8 months, he was back.
Time to play the game.
As any sustained roar I have ever heard.
He could have left in 2021 when a cardiac event nearly ended his life.
You know, there's moments in there where you, when they're putting you out for stuff and you think, is this it? You know, do you wake up for this?
Hall would leave the ring, but never leave the game. In fact, he's become more essential, more integral, more vital to the business than ever before. That brings us to purpose.
I didn't get in this business to be rich. I didn't get in it for any other reason. I just want to be great.
That's always been there. As a superstar who would start his day in production meetings, a headliner who was building the NXT franchise for the future.
You guys are changing the way people look at women athletes. And it's awesome that it's happening here.
A brand name that wanted to build stories beyond his own. A legend that believed he would and could lift WWE into an even higher realm, crafting another evolution, creating another generation of memories.
You see, in this industry, just like in life, everything evolves.
That's what Paul Levesque has done, because that's who he is. A celebrated champion, a creative force, a visionary leader, driven by the greatest force of all, love, forever, for others, for the game.
This is the Paul Levesque era.
And
Yeah,
indeed
Road
it
Dogg.
is, as Stephanie said, the Paul
His whole
Levesque
family.
era. Triple H will be out here in just a few moments to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. His family's here tonight. His lovely wife, children, of course, his mother-in-law as well. Also here tonight is a legendary manager, Hall of Famer in his own right. Jimmy Hart is here at the Hall of Fame. And I bring Jimmy up because Jimmy put together one of the most powerful and influential tag teams in the history of WWE.
They would go on to become tag team champions and have a legendary rivalry with the Legion of Doom.
These men were so big, they were so powerful, the earth moved when they walked. And there was a reason they were called the Natural Disasters.
Do you feel your whole world coming to an end? Do you feel the walls shaking, the ground quaking?
What happens when you combine two of Earth's most devastating forces?
They're gonna feel the typhoon splash and the earthquake.
You get a disaster of truly epic proportions.
At a total combined weight of 852 pounds, the veteran
800, god damn.
In 1991, former sumo wrestler John Tenta, known as Earthquake, joined forces with the equally massive Typhoon, then known as Tugboat.
And when you're the biggest, the meanest, and the baddest, you fear no one.
The two behemoths thunder through WWE, becoming one of the most popular tag teams.
They were two different characters that came together in a tag team, and it just fit.
The Natural Disasters amazed crowds, not only with their enormous size and power, but with their surprising athleticism.
They weren't just lumbering big men. They were big men that could move.
They each stand over 6'7". Together they weigh over a half a ton, and they will be the next World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions.
Nobody, but nobody is taking these away from us.
In 1993, the Natural Disasters disbanded, but their aftershock is still felt to this day.
A lot of what you see in modern big men was kind of pioneered in the 90s by Typhoon, by Earthquake.
My finishing move, which is the tsunami, is of course another natural disaster.
The Natural Disasters will be remembered like any huge storm. Unique, powerful, awe-inspiring.
I wish there were more teams like the Natural Disasters. The legacy the Natural Disasters leave behind is one of, I want some more of that. Hopefully they inspire the next generation.
Natural disasters rule. How about that?
WWE is proud to induct Earthquake and Typhoon, the Natural Disasters, into the 2025 class of the WWE Hall of Fame.
Please help us welcoming Typhoon Fred Ottman, his son Berkeley Ottman, dog, I must add, and for the late John Tenta, his wife Josephine, his grandson Joe, his daughter Joanna Tenta, and his son John Tenta Jr.
They all here.
Almost 20 years ago, a few months before our dad died, I got home from school, wandered into my parents' room, and found my dad sitting on the floor in front of my parents' bed with VHS tapes spread out in front of him. He smiled and invited me to join him. He was watching a taping of Primetime Wrestling, and it was his Quake Burger segment. He was cracking up and quoting his own lines and telling me how that segment raised a lot of eyebrows at the time. In that moment, it was Earthquake entertaining John Tenta, just like he entertained all of you. I love this memory because it shows the stark contrast between the vicious heel in the ring and the warm, gentle giant that I'm so thankful and proud to call my dad.
Yes, sir.
I also share this memory because at the time it was bittersweet. I assumed my dad was reflecting about his life nearing its end. 20 years later, I'm sure that was certainly part of it, but I also see a person with an unbelievably full life to look back on and reflect on, and he was able to know that he'd achieved his life's dream. Thank you, first and foremost, to the fans who made that dream come true. He was grateful for your support, always. And thank you to the WWE for honoring him and Fred with this tremendous recognition.
I always admired my dad for being unapologetically himself. He was dependable and worked hard, but he was also silly, compassionate, and didn't take himself too seriously. He taught me that you could be both fierce and gentle, with gentleness often requiring more strength. Wanting to carry on his spirit and legacy gave me courage to step into the ring last year and start training to follow in his footsteps.
Yes, sir. Okay.
My dad once said he wanted to be remembered as a pretty good heel who played his part well. Now, because of his work with Uncle Fred, he will also be remembered as a pretty good babyface. Uncle Fred, thank you for being such a wonderful friend to our father, for bringing to life so many moments together in the ring, and for bringing so much joy to our dad's life outside of it. I still have an image in my mind from years ago of you and my father laughing like two men half your age and size on the Dumbo ride at Disney World. To see that you could be strong and imposing, but still embrace your inner child, it's what this is all about. So thank you, Fred. Thank you for being a part of that. If my dad were here tonight, I know he'd want to celebrate you for all you are and for all you gave.
First of all, I want to tell you all how grateful that the natural disasters are being put in to the 2025 Hall of Fame. Thank you, WWE.
Yes, sir.
And John, Joanna, thank you for all those beautiful things that you just said. It means a lot to me. I just wish your dad was here next to me. He was my best friend. You know, we spent over 300 days a year on the road together, you know, and I loved him. He was my brother from another mother. And it is true, we had the tendencies to be a little infantile sometimes. Okay, I did ride the Dumbo ride and I had mouse ears on. Yes. But I wrote some things here to let you know more about us. You know, when they first came to me, they go, Quake had run his deal with Hulk Hogan. And I went to TV after just doing a photo shoot on tugboats in Rhode Island. And I got there and I got they want to see you in the office. And I'm like, what did I do now? You know, but they called me in the back. They said, we had an idea. You know, Pat was back there, Vince, and they're like, we were thinking about putting you guys together as a team. Well, I go, oh my God, that's awesome. He's a phenomenal athlete, a great friend to me. And, you know, sometimes tag teams don't gel in this business for one reason or another. You know, but they put us together and it was awesome. You know, we traveled overseas. We traveled here and worked here. And all those days on the road, man, but to have somebody that cared about you and cared about me, we had so much in common. You know, he was a great dad, a great husband, you know, and just a wonderful person. Sorry. You know, but I got a call, you know, he had cancer and he had to move to Houston. And it was in remission. And I got a phone call at my house. And he called and he was supposed to be going to his son's wedding in Orlando, I believe. And he called and he says, it's back, Fred. And man, it broke my heart. You know, this big, strong man that loved everyone, and everybody that's ever met him knew what a wonderful person he was. And so all I could tell you is if John, right now, he's looking down from heaven,
Booker T will be
his
sleeping.
children and what they've said, and I could see him with that big smile on his face and those dimples, you know, big old cutie. But I just want to say, Quake, I miss you. And this one here, brother, this is for you.
You guys will meet again. We all meet again. One day we'll meet together.
Well, earlier today, Triple H presenting the Hall of Fame rings to the natural disasters.
Great rings this year. Great rings.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new moment, the immortal moment that is going to be presented this year. One of the men involved in this is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What?
And Pat, our WWE social media team put together what they believe were some of the top stunners in the history of Stone Cold's career. Let's take a look.
Love that. This was not us. This was a social team. Xavier Woods having a time, dancing. Oh!
Get him out of here.
Change of life. How about The Rock? Dwayne Johnson and Steve traveled the road, stunning the hell out of each other. Hey, yo. Scott Hall can get one. How about Kevin Nash? Still 6'10" somehow after getting stunned. HBK, NXT starts in 20 minutes.
Go ahead. Best stunner of all time, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I don't know about any of that, but certainly a moment I did not expect. But once you get your face busted by Steve, you chug down a Steve Weiser to hope to ease the pain. The move that brought the world to its feet, and obviously one of the reasons why the man is considered a GOAT in all conversations.
Let's get to it. This is the inaugural immortal moment entering into the WWE Hall of Fame. WrestleMania 13 in Chicago. No disqualification. Submission match. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret the Hitman Hart.
Bret Hart was the man. He was the best guy in the WWE at the time. Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was the baddest mug around.
If you put the letter S in front of Hitman, you've had my exact opinion of Bret Hart.
Boy, this is hellfire and brimstone when these two get together. This rivalry is far, far from over.
Everything is so believable with Bret and Stone Cold. People are on the edge of their chair to see what happens next. And the story couldn't have been any better told than it was on that night at WrestleMania 13.
There we go.
I'm tuned into the crowd. And so we've got them hooked right from the get-go.
You can't be counted out. You cannot be disqualified. You've got to quit to end the match. These two men are battering each other. This is a hell of a fight.
You can sense that something extraordinary is taking place.
Austin's been busted open. Oh, he's busted bad.
Steve absorbed an incredible amount of punishment.
He's almost got it. Sharpshooter. He's got it on. These people are standing. Can you imagine the pain that's rushing through Austin's body? Austin never gave up, but he passed out with the pain.
The beauty of WrestleMania 13, it changed the business forever.
Little did I know that this was going to be one of the greatest matches of all time. WrestleMania 13, that night was perfection.
We salute Bret the Hitman Hart, and Stone Cold Steve Austin for their extraordinary WrestleMania 13 battle, a WWE immortal moment.
That was a good fight. I like that fight.
And who better to induct this immortal moment than, well, the man who hails from the city where this great match took place.
The Second City Saint, if you will.
Ladies and gentlemen, CM Punk.
Two minutes to talk about the two greatest generational superstar elite workers this business has ever seen, and their magnum opus they give us at WrestleMania 13. Now, I could talk about each of these gentlemen for 2 hours plus. I could talk about that match for another 5, but you guys don't want to hear from me tonight. You want to hear from Steve Austin and Bret Hart. I think as human beings, as performers, as artists, we speak in absolutes and hyperbole too often. You know, this guy's the worst wrestler I've ever seen. You hear it all the time. This is the greatest match I've ever seen. I think the hyperbole and the absolutes should be reserved for these two men in this match. It is the greatest match in WrestleMania history. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's definitely good. Top 10.
Just trying to eat up a little bit of time here and see if I can. I say I'm the best in the world, but this night is not about me.
Logan Paul
means a lot to me. This match, I think, meant a lot to the business and a lot of the boys and girls sitting here today, and certainly to the fans. Shout out to Ken Shamrock. He was a big part of this, making it what it was. He selflessly understood what it took to be a great referee. Tip of the cap to Sweet Home Chicago. Some of the best fans in the world helped make this perfect storm what it was. And again, this is not about me, but this moment and this match and these two guys mean so much to me. This all means so much to me. Because all I've ever tried to do is walk in the shadow of giants. All I will continue to do, and I'm doing quite literally right now, is follow in the footsteps of the legends and fill the boots of the people that I idolized when I was a kid. I've been fortunate to have a lot of mentors in this business. Some of them aren't here with us anymore. Harley's gone, Eddie's not with us, Terry isn't here anymore. Roddy has passed on. I think it's important to say how grateful I am and thankful I'm here today. Thankful that Bret and Steve are here so we can all tell them how much they mean to us, to thank them, to give them their flowers because they so desperately deserve it.
Yes, they do.
So please join me in giving the flowers and showing love to two of the greatest superstars of all time, my mentors, my idols, my friends, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret the Hitman Hart.
They both gonna come out? Yes, sir. There you go. He was wondering what happened. Man of the hour. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Damn, that is dope. I like that. That's dope. Yeah, they did it perfect. I like that shit.
First of all, I just want to say it's a huge honor to be the first guy to get 3 Hall of Fame rings. Thank you. I always, from the night that I had this match, I knew when I was in the dressing room after, it was like, I think that was my greatest match. It was such a great moment for me. It was something that I could feel it the second it happened, and I just knew that this might be the greatest match of all time, might be the greatest match I ever had. There's a famous French painter that once said, his name is George Braque, and he once said, art is a wound turned to light. And for me, I've always thought that was the perfect statement about this match. And for me, just having this match with Steve Austin, I'll say that Steve and I always got along really well. We were good friends. But, there's something that is goes beyond, being friends in wrestling. And what it is it's trust and respect. And there was always a lot of trust, and there was always a lot of respect. And when we had that match, that's the one thing that I remember the most, is that there was this respect between each other and the trust between each other. And that's what means the most to me right now standing here, is that that's how you do magic in wrestling, is when you have that trust and respect. You can't be a great wrestler without having that. And I had it with a lot of wrestlers, but for me, the one guy that stands out the most as having the most respect and the most trust was this guy right here. I'm gonna pass over. I only got 2 minutes, and I'm gonna let Steve take you on the rest of the road.
What?
Man, I've talked about this match so much. You come out here and blow smoke up Brett's ass and my ass. It just seems like overkill. But hey, that's the gig. Yeah. It happened to be a real good house in Chicago that night. Chicago seemed to be a stronghold for me. Brett and I went to the finish room, got the marching orders. I didn't think much of it. I kind of doubted it. Brett and I were sitting on the apron kind of talking. I went back, doubled back to the old man, said, hey, man, you think it's going to work? He goes, oh, God. Steve. So I went back out there and started talking with Brett. Anyway, went out there and just had a hell of a match. And it was basic and it was simple. And, you can do whatever you want, but, man, if you keep it basic, simple, you got a pretty good start there, because you ain't got to do a whole bunch of shit and hurt yourself. It was a great match. It was a lot of fun. And like CM Punk said, he so properly addressed Ken Shamrock. I'd like to say thank you to Ken Shamrock. He brought a lot of eyeballs to that match. The only thing that pissed me off is some bitch is so jacked up. I mean, hell, me and Brett looked like Shamrock, so. But it was great. He looked like $1 million. Hell, he's worth the pay-per-view all by himself. And then I want to thank also on just the way it was. There was 3 guys doing commentary on that match, and they made that match. And one was Vince, and he was dropping a lot of stuff in that match because he saw the vision. I was a trash-talking, redneck heel,
and he saw a long-range Steve being an anti-hero babyface. I knew what we was going to do, but I didn't know what it was going to become. Jumping Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, two of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
You saw the match. You felt what me and Brett were doing. It was personal. It was real.
Goddamn, Austin.
Those three guys doing the commentary, they laid down the
I love Jim
soundtrack
Ross,
to back
man.
up every single thing we did, and it was a combination of that crowd, the story, and everything coming together. And the like Brett said, the respect that we had, but the animosity that was portrayed out there on the show. On a week-by-week basis on Monday Night Raw. It was just a great time in my life, and kind of makes me god dang almost a little bit speechless, because you see those packages and they put them together so good, and hell, I damn near started to cry back here in the back because it was such a good memory for me to look at all those pictures and that video reel of what Brett and I did that night. And I just think it's a very appropriate time to drink some. So if
Give Brett a stunner.
bring some beer, I sure would appreciate it, because I'm about to start crying, and I might get a hangover tonight, and I'll look like that damn thing right there that they made for us. To Bret Hart, I don't know if you want to drink a beer, but I'm going to open you a beer. Pat, I know you'll drink a beer.
Yeah, I will. Yep.
Brett,
I will.
You took me under your wing
Everybody
when I
get
came into
stunned.
the company.
We understand.
You showed me the way. You helped me out. You knew that we could make money. We did. If it wasn't for Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin wouldn't be sitting here. I'm proud to be the first match with Bret going in, because all of my peers over here, I'm looking at Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, all these guys, Triple H, they could have went in themselves, but we were the first. We deserved it. Kind of changed the history of the business, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. Cheers, Bret. I love you.
You get a stunner. Hell yeah. Versa, hell yeah. You get a stunner, man. And that's the bottom line.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Cause Stone Cold said so.
2025 WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Boy looks young, though. I ain't gonna lie. Stone Cold look good, man. SmackDown? Oh.
Hey, we need medics! We need some help here! Hey, paramedics!
This is gonna be a good match.
Look, all I can say
Jay
at the moment
versus
is the
Naomi.
investigation is still ongoing. I don't see any other option besides you having to relinquish the tag team titles.
No, I don't want to do that. What are you talking about? No. If she needs a tag team partner, I can step up to the plate. Yes, Naomi has always had my back.
Naomi is standing side by side with her longtime friend, now turned tag team championship partner.
We got to move forward with just me and you, but that doesn't mean that we're going to forget about what happened to Jade. You got Nia, Candace, Tiffany, Liv, Raquel. When I find out who did it, it's on site.
There's been a development in the Jade situation.
Is that Liv and Raquel? I knew it! I knew it! I told you!
This is the 7th Women's Elimination Chamber match.
Go for Team J, though. Yes, sir. What up, Jelly?
Is coming.
Yeah, I like Jade. I'm going for Jade.
We haven't seen her since she's attacked. Liv Morgan, look at the look on her face.
Close the cage! Well. Say hello to some comeuppance! Wait a minute! Jade has attacked!
I want that fight to go crazy, though. Like, make that shit a female street fight, man.
Who attacked her a number of months ago?
Not to harp on Naomi much longer, but how did you know that she was the attacker?
You know, Kathy, all I can recall is
I'm doing good, man. I'm just
being hit from the back and being thrown on a car. And then
watching the whole
everything went
thing
dark,
and just
seeing them
relaxing.
just run away.
I mean, that was my big sis.
Fucking late.
I mean, how can you trust anyone after that?
No, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Always been a woman to do the right thing.
For some reason, I keep getting more subscribers, but nothing's popping up. I don't know why.
For you. I did it for us. No, don't touch me.
Me and you, we're done.
But how you doing, Deli? What you been
Now
up
that
to?
you're back, Bianca won't even look at me.
You tried to take me out because of your own insecurities. I'm not just angry. I'm pissed.
When I think about all that I've sacrificed, all that I've given, and that's what really breaks my heart.
Time has run out.
This will be mine!
This WrestleMania, the glow is fake.
You know what you're saying is true though, because if Jay do win,
I'm your biggest threat.
then Naomi, like, she's nice right now. Like, she's where she needs to be, and yeah, she can do big, man.
That is Allegiant Stadium here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Unless they have Bianca come in and mess up the match, but Jay still gets to win somehow.
Countdown to WrestleMania gets underway at 4 o'clock on the East Coast. WrestleMania at 7, and of course,
Yes, sir, man. I'm ready too. I'll be streaming WrestleMania tomorrow and Sunday night.
Here tonight at the Fountain Blue for the WWE Hall of Fame.
I throw WrestleMania parties, but I'm not gonna show everybody that's there. I'm just gonna, the camera's gonna be like my face, my reaction, watching wrestling, WrestleMania.
The Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff, a revered classic villain in WWE history.
Ivan
Koloff began a
Koloff.
6-decade reign of fear in 1969. His crowning achievement.
Yeah, I'm hoping next year,
historic, nearly 8
Hall of Fame, they changed the time, bro. God damn.
I liked his talent tremendously. We kept the people right on their toes. I wrestled Ivan Koloff 60, 70, 80 times. He was an absolute phenomenal talent.
During the Cold War, Koloff imposed his iron fist onto the next generation, creating the infamous regime, the Russians.
Ivan is the general. He knows how to teach it, and he teaches them well.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll take that.
I ran from the
Naomi
but ran
cheat to
into a
win,
bear.
but it's just like, man, I don't
About the
know.
Russian Bear. Congratulations, Ivan Koloff.
You don't want Jay to lose,
2025
but
legacy class of the WWE Hall of Fame.
I think Naomi should win.
Please help us welcome the wife of the Russian Bear, Renee Koloff.
His wife's still alive? That's crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt who the man we are here to celebrate tonight is meant to my
This is
career.
it.
I've known him for 28 years. From the
Hopefully
day
I
he
don't
gave me
start
the
crying, man. I don't need to cry right now, but
to now being my boss and a real good friend. I know, Pat, how much Triple H means to you.
He got me suspended in middle school and in high school because I was saying things that had 2 words in them with hand gestures. Long before I ever got a chance to meet him and the person that he is, and the leadership and the inspiration and the trailblazer, and I think everybody that has got a chance to work alongside of him would say the same thing.
Yeah.
There's an absolute beauty of a human who is crushing his current
yeah, she
role.
should go here. I guess be like the mastermind. She could say she was the
Time
mastermind
to
of Naomi.
celebrate the game.
Now, Alright, man. This speech is gonna be 4 hours long or what? Come on. I don't be crying, Seth. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man here to induct Triple H, I sort of feel bad because he's getting up there in age and he's got a real early call time for NXT tomorrow, like 5 a.m. or something.
It's going to be a great show.
So I caught him nodding off in the back, but I think he's ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who probably knows Triple H better than anyone, well, except Steph.
Shawn Michaels.
He is Mr. WrestleMania. He is the man who is creating NXT right now. He is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
I think I'm cute. I know
No
I'm
one.
sexy.
Hey.
I've got the looks that drives and goes wild. I've got the move that really moves.
Yeah, that boy Shawn, man, he aging really bad.
Up and down their spine.
He just
Thank you very much. First of all, before we get started, I hope everybody's enjoying this year, 2025 the 2025 Hall of Fame. To the NXT talent that's out there, if I don't show up tomorrow morning, that joke didn't go over very well in the back. Tonight is a very special night for me. I get to induct my best friend, Triple H, into the WWE Hall of Fame. You all watched the video package. The WWE Universe sees him for who he is. The Game, the King of Kings, the 14-time world champion, numerous Rumble wins, classic rivalries with the biggest names in WWE history. The Rock, John Cena, Steve Austin, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and the list, it goes on and on. I know, I'm a bit biased because I'm his best friend, but I was there in the beginning. Me and some other boys you might have heard of called the Clique. We watched him come in, and he didn't walk in the door wanting to be what he is today, which is the most powerful man in wrestling. He just wanted to be what a lot of us wanted to be, a pro wrestler. He didn't think he was walking in the door as the chosen one. He didn't have some diabolical plan to take over the world. He knew, like a lot of us, he had to prove his worth. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but he wouldn't have accomplished all that if he didn't marry the boss's daughter. You're wrong. What he did was fall in love with a beautiful woman who fell in love with him. And the list of accomplishments, I damn assure you, would not have changed a bit. They would have stayed the same no matter what, because he was willing to outwork everyone else, because that's simply who he is. And now, speaking of that beautiful woman, I know there have been times when you've wondered about our relationship. And I'm not going to lie to you. My wife wondered as well. But as he and I have both done, we have assured our wives And I'm here to assure all of you, hand to God, the only times we've ever kissed was on live television in front of all of you.
Say, yeah, right.
That's the truth, Steph, and I'm sticking to it, I promise. Hunter does everything in life with a sincere, genuine intent. From being raised by two unbelievably genuine parents to raising a family of his own, to making a genuine friendship with a bunch of crazy dudes. It's lasted over 30 years. And trust me, when it comes to me, it was a conscious decision of his to be my friend. Now look, I like to think he learned a lot from me, the do's and the don'ts, especially the don'ts. But yeah, I feel like I helped him, not to understand the wrestling business, but to understand how to do business in this place and helping him get to the level that I knew he wanted to get to. The level that both of us knew he had the talent to achieve. We spent so much time together, we almost always know what the other is thinking. And I can honestly say, I don't know why he stayed my friend for so long. For a guy who has such a sharp business sense, it was probably the worst decision in the world to continue to be my friend. And I can assure you, everybody, and the other guys will tell you, it wasn't because of my charming personality. Every smart business move would have told him to just do the whole Homer Simpson thing where you just kind of fade back into the hedges. I mean, do what everybody else does, right? You just jump in another car. Guys did it all the time. But he stayed my best friend through thick and thin. And not knowing that one day I was going to turn my life around and become incredibly wonderful, humble, and adorable human being that stands here before you today. Hunter didn't leave me because no matter what, he wouldn't allow himself to do it, because that's the type of human being he is, and that's the type of human being he was raised to be. Now, we'd be here all day if I went into his time as the game or the leader of evolution, the king of kings or the leader of the authority, and certainly not where it all started, as the new leader of the second iteration of D-Generation X, the one during the Attitude Era that everybody thinks was so much better than the original. And I'm not bitter about that, not at all. Gonna quickly fast forward to perhaps what is arguably Hunter's biggest contribution to the business, and what certainly holds a special place in my heart, and that's NXT. When the clique was riding around in the car, we used to share stories about our love and passion for the business. We always wondered to ourselves, like, why can't it be like this all the time? And one day, Hunter had the foresight and the vision to build a place where that excitement and passion could do just that, live all the time. Hunter had the ability to see the future of what the WWE could be. Everybody's always said, you can't just build a WWE superstar. One day, if I know him like I know him,
he said to himself, why the hell not? So he created an environment where you could create just that, where you didn't have to grow up loving this like we did, but if you could be around it 24/7, and if we could find that, if that was in you, we would bring it out of you and then we would snatch it up. We would see 13 years later, and here we are, where WrestleMania, that card is damn near all NXT alumni. Every friendship has its ebbs and flows, its ups and downs, just like ours. But we're still as solid as ever. I can remember it all started with a phone call about me coming to NXT. Why don't you just swing on by? See what you think. And what started out at 2 hours a day, 3 days a week, has literally turned into a non-stop 24/7 grind, day in, day out, that virtually never ends. But I wouldn't change it for the world. Well, I might now that I think about it. When I get emails at 1 o'clock in the morning that start with, per Paul. For the love of God, who the hell is Paul? You want to know who Paul is? Paul's my boss. And Paul, my boss, sure as hell ought to know not to be emailing me at 1 o'clock in the morning when he knows I go to bed at 9. I'm telling you this much, the Paul I work for is a big, huge pain in my ass. On the way over here, though, it finally dawned on me. I see what he's doing. I get it now. He's getting me back. He's getting me back for everything that I did to him into the 90s. You think the reign of terror from 2002 to 2005 was something? You ought to try working for the dude. Where's a frickin' sledgehammer when you need it? But just like in the 90s, he didn't leave me. So I'm sure as hell not leaving him. Those two guys down there, and another that isn't with us. With the click, it was ride or die from the very beginning, and nothing is ever, ever going to change that. Hunter is the guy that can take the WWE into the future. There's no one better and more equipped to do that than Hunter. I watch him work with talent. I marvel at his temperament, his ability to work with high caliber talent. I mean, who can go and collaborate with Bad Bunny and Travis Scott and then turn around and work with Roman Reigns and CM Punk? He started creating his own elaborate WrestleMania entrances, and now he's doing it for the entire roster. He has an incredibly unique way of managing the corporate and the business side, and yet still does it without losing his love for what happens inside that ring. People and talent, they feel more confident with Triple H at the helm, but because he can keep the integrity.
he can keep the integrity of pro wrestling and keep the WWE continuing to be the largest sports entertainment brand in the entire world. This time, I'm going to bring out the best friend a guy could ever have. He's one hell of a leader. And I know he knows this, but I have to say it publicly. And I'm not sorry. Buddy, I love you. Please welcome the newest member of the 2025 WWE Hall of Fame, Triple H.
It's time to play the game. Facts. You deserve it.
I've been sitting back there for the last 15 minutes blubbering, so I might be dehydrated. If I pass out, someone come and drop an elbow on me or something. We can get some mileage out of it at least. I love all of you. It doesn't get any better than having I'm not good talking when I get choked up. We might be here for a while. They say in life, if you can find a true friend, you're truly a rich man. He makes me a billionaire. Thank you all for being here, first of all. I want to mention just off the top, first of all, Motorhead. That song to me just never gets old. Lemmy gave me the gift of his sound and his friendship, and I could never repay him for that. One thing before we get started tonight, I wanted to take a moment to do one little thing here. Rich Herring, please stand up. Many of you saw Rich get inducted in the Hall of Fame a few years ago, but he's here tonight. I wanted him to be here. Just so happens that on this day today, 55 years ago, Rich Herring did his first show for the WWF, and he has never left this company. He was here through thick and thin, and as I would learn to know him, I would start to call him the Wolf, like in Pulp Fiction. Because if really bad, if something was really messed up and you didn't know what to do, I would just call the Wolf and he would fix it. Thank you, Rich, for all your years, for being here. You are the man. Thank you. A lot of us would not be here, especially my friends, if it wasn't for Rich Herring. You know, when Nick first sprang this on me, as we were doing a town hall, and out would walk Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, and I was thinking to myself, like, I probably should have read this format better before we came out here, because I didn't know these guys were coming out. I had no idea what they were doing. Since that moment, I've been trying to think about how do I talk about this? And I still don't know how. You know, everybody has their version of these speeches. Some are short, some are long, some from past years are still going right now. Mr. T is somewhere. He loves his mom, and he's just going home with the finale of that speech. But I get it now. This is by far one of the hardest things to put together. The deeper I dug into it, the harder it got. And I realized that as I went through this, it wasn't about me. It was about the people that got me here. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a kid from New Hampshire that at 5 or 6 years old was sitting on my dad's lap, saw Chief Jay Strongbow, and I never looked back. It was all I ever wanted to do. It was all I ever wanted to be. But without the people in your life that give you that encouragement, that lead the way, that help in whatever way they can, you just don't get there. I had a lot of those people, and I was very lucky to have them. People will say in life when they look at somebody, oh, he's a self-made man, or, you know, he came from nothing and became something. He's a self-made man. There isn't a self-made man on this planet. Everybody is a product of the people around them and what it leads them to do. For me, it starts with my parents. I've said it before when we did DX. My mom taught me all that stuff.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, she'll tell you to suck it. Just wait.
You look just like his pops.
But they taught me a work ethic and a skill set, not to become rich, not to do anything else, because working your ass off is what's right to do. If you believe in something, work until you have it. Work until it is yours. They taught me that. And if I could just take a personal second, tonight is their 61st anniversary.
God damn, 61st? Jeez.
My sister Lynn is here, always supportive, always believing in me. She's 4 years older than me. I can remember one time a kid same age as her beating the shit. I went home and told her, and she proceeded to leave the house and beat the shit out of that kid. So always been there to have my back. She recently had a similar cardiac situation that I had. And when you talk about hard work, not only has she bounced back, they now have her giving testimonials. She's on billboards and she's a huge head now. She thinks she's something, you know, big star in the family, you know what I mean? But But she is, because she turned her entire life around and made this remarkable comeback. She's a fighter, and I'm incredibly proud of her, my sister Lynn. Her kids are here, Nasa and Pete. I love them to death. Once I discovered wrestling, it was always in the back of my mind. It was what I wanted to do. At 14 years old, I went to a gym because I thought, like, well, I got to get big like the guys I see on TV. I got to go in the gym and I got to train. I went to the gym for the first time and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I would meet another person that would help lift me up there, Brian Zagaritis, who is sitting right there. Friends for 40 years. He was my first training partner. He was jacked up, college kid. He saw this 14, 15-year-old, 6'1", 130-pound string bean kid that was probably like the gym mascot, and took me under his wing and beat the living in that gym every day to help me achieve my goals, and I'm forever grateful of that. Sitting next to him is a good friend of mine, Mike Belanger, who 40 years ago was a guy in the gym. I asked him to come out here because 40 years ago, I was a guy closing the gym where he would be there every night, and I'd be wearing him out with stupid stories about how I was going to get in the wrestling business and take that world over. And he listened to all of it and believed all of it and said, you should do that. And that kind of encouragement leads you to do incredible things in your life when you have somebody that stands behind you. So thank you. Around that time, I would discover Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'd watch a movie called Pumping Iron. I'd discover Arnold. I'd read a book that he wrote called Education of a Bodybuilder. I probably read it 1,000 times. In that book, there would be a blueprint that Arnold had as a kid from Austria that would decide that he was going to become the greatest bodybuilder on the planet, and he was going to move to America, which was unheard of, and then he was going to become the biggest movie star of all time, and then he was going to get into politics and so on and so forth. I read that book like it was a blueprint of how to get what you wanted out of life. And it started in that gym, because the weights didn't lie. The harder you worked, the more you got out of it, the more you got out of it, the more you succeeded. And for me, that was everything. So Arnold became a big role model for me, and somebody that I would look up to my entire career and still do to this day. I've said this to him personally, he is the American dream. But without his sort of being there in my life, whether he knew it or not, and certainly he didn't know it at the time, he would inspire me to become something more. So thank you. Along the way, one day, Ted Arcidi would walk into my gym, world's strongest man, and you know, you work your ass off for something, and then one day you catch the break. Here's this guy, he's been in the business, and I ask him to help. You know, I'm my early 20s. Hey, please guide me. Is there a place I can go train? It wasn't like now where you can just look on the internet. He told me, nah, you don't want to get in that business. It's a horse. Stay out of that. You're a nice kid, don't do that. And I just couldn't take no for an answer, and he would turn me on to this grumpy old man named Killer Kowalski. Kowalski, in his own unique way, in a no AC, no heat having boxing ring that was like concrete, would teach me in his own unique way. He would see something in me, and you know, after the first day I trained there, which to be honest felt like the most natural thing in my life, I left there thinking I'm supposed to do this. He said, it was on a Saturday, and he said, I'll see you tomorrow. And I said, I don't quite have the money to pay you to train me yet. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get that. And I'll come back when I do. And he looked at me and said, no, you come tomorrow, pay me when you can, whatever you can, and I'm gonna teach you, and you're gonna be great, and you're gonna be a big star. And I never forgot it. He taught me things that I didn't even know he was teaching me, because most of the time I couldn't figure out what the hell he was saying. But I still hear myself saying a different version of those things to talent today, trying to get them to that level they're trying to aspire to be. I might not have known what he was telling me at the time, but they sunk in and helped get me to that next place. From there, I would go to WCW, and I see Eric Bischoff sitting right there. Eric took a chance on a Gud, geographically undesirable, right? But he took a chance, and he gave me a job, and Eric, for that, I'm forever grateful. You gave me the start. You opened the door for me into something more. Thank you. From there, the first person I would meet in WCW was Dusty Rhodes. And it was on Dusty's last day as Booker in WCW, and I had no idea, and I'm kind of the one that informed him of that when I told him that Eric Bischoff asked me to come there. But he was wonderful to me. And later in life, he would become a mentor to me. He would teach me a lot of things, including something I take with me to this day: booking ain't easy, kid. And it isn't. You got to work your ass off, and you got to stay in front of it always. Your dad meant the world to me. When I was there, people that would just give me words of encouragement, that meant the world to get me to that next level. Arn Anderson would walk up to me after my dark match and tell me, "You just got yourself a job, kid. Way to go." And then later that night, he would say, when the show was over, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I would say, "I'm going back to my hotel. That's it." And he would say, "No, you're not. You're coming out with us." I went out with Arn that night. Once he realized that I didn't drink or do drugs or anything else, I would go out with Arn a lot, since I could drive us home safely every night. And also, when he was in an unsafe environment for him, he would also make me go get a Popeye's chicken at all hours of the morning, which he would enjoy greatly. So it was a mutual relationship there. But I would learn an incredible amount from Arn Anderson, and I'm forever grateful. Harley Race, I would meet in WCW. Harley would walk up to me first day. I had said hello to him, he had said hello, and then a little while later would come up to me with a cigarette. And, "I heard you trained with Kowalski." "Yes, sir, yes, I did." And then he stared at me for an unreasonably long amount of time that I was very uncomfortable, and I wasn't sure if he was going to hit me. I really wasn't sure what was going to happen, and finally he just took another drag and said, "He was the shit." Yes, sir, I realized that. Yes, thank you very much. Harley would go on to teach me a lot of things, and a lot of people have a lot of wild stories about Harley Race. The one I will tell you is that when my daughter was born, Aurora, Harley went out of his way to personally, his wife told me, buy her a set of earrings that he picked out personally to come give to me, to give to Aurora. He was one of a kind. Guys in that time frame, and I'll just mention them briefly, that would give me a lot of encouragement, and I don't even know that they knew it. One was a guy named Stunning Steve Austin. But he would pull me aside on a regular basis to give me little tidbits of, "Hey, when you're out there, try this, try that." He was one of the few guys in an environment that was really rough at the time that was actually giving and didn't need to be. And another guy I'm looking at directly right here is Mick Foley.
Mick Foley, bang, bang.
Cactus Jack would pull me aside in the hallway and give me little tidbits of advice and things to do and things to look forward to. And his kindness always was a wonderful thing, and it meant a lot to me. And later, and I'll talk about it later, but I hope you know how much you mean to me.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Terry Taylor, who unfortunately earlier today had a little bit of a medical incident, so he's not here tonight. I wish he was, and hope, oh, he is here. Jesus, can't stop you. Wow, look, Terry Taylor was a guy that I worked with once. He looked at me and said, "How long you been working?" And I gave him the standard lie that everybody put on their stuff at the time, 5 years. And he was like, "How long you really been working?" And I said, "I don't know, like a year and a half or something." You know, I got to WCW pretty quickly. And he said, "Man, you fooled me." He said, "Well, look, WCW has a place called the Power Plant. And I know you don't have to go, you're a contract guy, but I go there every day to train. If you want me to take you the rest of the way and you want to learn, I'll be there." I went to the Power Plant every single day to work out with Terry Taylor and Steve Regal. Terry would take me into his home. His wife was a hell of a cook, but he would bring me around his wife and he would bring me around his kids. He made me part of his family when I didn't have one. And I was very close to my family. So being by myself in Atlanta, Terry made it a home for me. And he made me feel like family. I'll never forget that. Thank you. Steve Regal was sitting a couple of rows in front of him. We would ride up and down the road together. We were about to become the Blue Bloods when I left to come here. Sherry Martel was going to be with us. But as big of a moment as that maybe was going to be for him, you know, we had been told all these big plans, and it was great. He would come to me every day and honestly say, "Get out of here." Pack up and leave and go to WWE.
Yeah, he crying, man. Don't be crying.
And
Shit.
let Vince make you a big star. Get out. To this day, he is one of my best friends. He says it a lot to me. He says it all the time. But I would for him as well. I'd take a bullet for you. Now I get to WWE. I leave there, and I come here. I don't know anyone. But one day, as I have tried to ride with a lot of people and realized these guys are not where I want to be. A lot of guys in that time just wanted to get in the car, not talk about this business, just get to the next town, do your thing, go work out, whatever it is, and just not think about work. That's all I wanted to think about. So after realizing a lot of these people to travel with aren't for me, I was in Boston at the airport getting a rental car, and I was just going to drive by myself to Portland, Maine. And this white sketchy van pulls up outside the window and starts honking the horn, and I think like some crazy person out there honking at me, and finally I see Kevin Nash's head in the window, and he's waving at me. So I'm like, there's Kevin Nash, like I'm in line, like I'm finally getting to the front. I've been in this line forever. This isn't order by phone days. You can ask your parents, they'll tell you about it. I walk out, get out of line, walk out. He goes, "Who you riding with?" I said, "I'm just gonna ride by myself. I'm gonna drive up to Portland." He goes, "Jump in with us." He was by himself. I said, "Who's us?" He said, "Kid, Sean and Scott. I'm picking them up in a minute." I was like, "You got a lot of people, man. No worries. I'm good." And he said, "No, just get in here, would you?" So I went back in, got my bags, threw them in the car. And all we did was talk about business the entire way. And I loved it. Scott Hall would every night say,
"Yes, sir."
Scott Hall every night would say to us in those cars and in those vans, "Can we just not talk about business tonight? Can we just drive and just not talk business for one night, please?" But before we do that, you know, in your match tonight, and he would start to go into business, and that's all we would talk about again. But when Sean says, how did I, the guy that didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't do drugs, didn't do any of that stuff, how did I end up with them? Let me tell you about the first night I ride with them. We go to Portland and we work. Kid's already laughing because he knows this story mostly buries him. We leave Portland, and at that time, a lot of places to go late at night to eat, so we pull into a Denny's. It's packed. It's all college kids, and we're fairly recognizable at that point in time. Kev, I'm driving, so Kev's mildly in the bag. Scott Hall is very in the bag. Sean is pretty in the bag. And I'm hoping isn't going to get worse. He's sitting next to me. On the other side is Kid, who's perfectly fine. Kid has a habit of ordering like 5 drinks at one time. So he orders like, can I get a coffee, an iced tea, a soda water, a lemonade, and a strawberry shake, please? Like he's like the drink master. He's totally fine. I start to talk to Sean, who I'm thinking, oh man, he is getting a little bit worse. And I go to turn to Kid, and Kid is face down in his strawberry shake. At this point in time, Scott Hall is in a massive argument with the waitress that he saw the cook put a booger in his eggs. And he's adamant that this is, like he has seen this, and he wants the manager, and she's not having it, and now the manager comes, and he's yelling at this manager about bring the cook out here. I saw him from over here put the booger in the eggs. Kev is just kind of looking at him, and I can't tell how bad off he is, but I realize Kid is not getting out of this shake, and I got to get him out of here. So I look at Sean, and I say, hey, we should probably go, because Scott is in a position where they're threatening to call the cops now, and he's face down in a strawberry shake. We should get him out of here. Sean straightens up for a bit. We start to drag Kid up, and everybody's seeing this scene and making a huge deal out of it. Begin to drag him out of this restaurant, and he catches his ankle on the door on the way out and starts screaming at the top of his lungs, ah, my ankle, you're killing me. It's getting worse by the second. We get outside, and now as he gets outside, he kind of passes out. And I'm starting to get really scared. And now out comes Kevin and Scott and the manager and the waitress, and a bunch of kids are following them, and they're calling the police. And I'm like, shit. This is day 1, by the way, of traveling with them. I now put Kid up against the van, and Sean says, is he breathing? And I feel for his pulse, and it's there, but it's there. And I panic, and I start slapping because I think that's how I'm going to wake him up. Sean starts to yell at me, what are you doing? You're kicking his ass. Stop beating him up. Why are you beating him up? And I'm like, he's dying. I got to try to wake him up. And now here comes Scott. What are you doing? He's mad. They're calling the cops. We can hear this going on. There's all these kids. We throw him in the van. Everybody else gets in the van. We, at that point, I drive him straight to the emergency room, where we sit for hours until he begins to come out of this. And Kev leans forward and tells him, just deny service and they'll let us go. And that's what he does. And we drive back to the hotel. My nerves fried. We get in there, and I look at the clock, and we have 1 hour before we have to be up and drive to the next town. And we get up, get in the van. It was daytime now. The sun had come up, so now Kev was going to drive, because that's how it worked. Big Kev in the afternoons, me at nighttime. We would establish this relationship over time. Kid would now come downstairs 15 minutes later than everybody else, like usual, get in the van and say, hey, thank you guys for saving my life last night. Let's go. And for some reason, I loved it and thought, I'm going to ride with these guys all the time. For the life of me, I have no idea why, but thank you guys.
Too sweet.
When you talk about, as Sean mentioned, a brotherhood that lasts, ride or die. And I think about Scott every day. Everybody had their strengths in that car. Kev saw the business like a movie, completely like a movie, thought in big, giant, cinematic picture things and all this stuff. Kid was a measuring stick. If you could work with him, if you couldn't work with him, you were out. At some point, they would put everybody in the ring with him and see how well they did. If they rocked it with him, they were in. If they didn't, you were done. You couldn't go, and you got moved to the side. He was the measuring stick. Sean could put it all together like nobody else. You know, just got it all, was a Pat disciple, you know, could do all that stuff. But Scott had a way of simplifying everything, that he would just say something to you so simplistic that it would change your view of the business. Like he'd say it, you'd be like, yeah, we do that all the time. That absolutely makes no sense. You are correct. And you would just move on. He had this simplicity about him to the point where it was genius. And I learned, he's so underrated. I learned so much from Scott Hall. I don't even know how to say it. He also had a unique personality. One time on Raw, we had worked on the night before, me ducking the discus punch, and he would catch me with the left. We decided to do it on TV, and he would proceed to knock me out cold on Monday Night Raw. I don't remember the end of the match. I was working with Scott. Kid ran out. I don't remember any of that. Next thing I remember was Kevin Nash picking me up and putting me in a folding chair, and Scott getting right in my face and saying, "You got a glass jaw, put," and walking off. He's one of a kind, and I miss him every day. The amount of people that I had here, I was so lucky when I came in to work with, you know, from just a who's who of the greats of this business. Every single night you got to work with somebody like Brett or Steve or Sean or Kid or Kev or Scott or Mick or, you know, at various times, and this might sound fun, the Bushwhackers and everybody that you could learn from under the sun. It really was a melting pot of all these styles and abilities that I loved it. I'd work with somebody different every night and just soak it up. Sean and I would eventually form DX. At that point in time, we would meet Joni Lauer, China. She was in a hotel lobby with Jack Lanza trying to get a job, and Jack just wanted to go to bed, so he would pawn her off on me and Sean as we were walking in. And the second we met her, I was like, man, there's my heater. They had been trying to put a heater with me for a while, and she was it. Unfortunately, everybody else didn't buy that. It took us quite a while to convince everybody to do it. But once she came in, DX was a unique group. We were kind of off the reservation a little bit, as many of you know. She was the anchor. She was the grounding point. She was the foundation. She sort of was the mother of a group, not only of me and Sean, but later of Dog and Billy and Kid and me. We probably would have imploded at some point if it wasn't for her. She would keep us grounded and really was the glue. And she forever changed this business.
Facts. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, China.
The women that we have now are incredible, and a lot of that springs out of her ability to do what she did and inspire generations. I'll be forever thankful to her for that. Damn straight. Dog, Billy, Kid, that second version of DX was probably the most fun I've ever had in this business. Brian James, I would ride with you and laugh so hard for 6 to 8 days straight. My abs would be killing me by the time we got off. Like, what happened to me? It was just because you made me laugh the entire trip. Either that or it was a contact eye. I'm not sure which one. But that DX run was one of the best parts of my career, and I love it. Thank you. I mentioned him earlier, and I'm going to try to buzz through this because it's getting late, but I don't, you know, when you do this, you just don't want to miss people. And I know I will. But I mentioned Steve Austin earlier. Steve would become like a mentor to me, whether he knew it or not. We always had this honest relationship with each other where if he didn't like something I did, he would tell me it sucked, and I would kind of do the same for him. So when everybody else was blowing smoke at you, we were at least honest with each other. And I'm always thankful for that relationship, because that honesty, when all you want is that honesty, you many, many times don't get it. And Steve would always give it to me, and I'm forever grateful for that. Mick, you gave me the gift of toughness at a point in time in this business where everybody questioned, do I have it to go to that next level? You told them I did, and you proved it to them by everything you did for me. That street fight, that Hell in a Cell are two of my favorite matches of all time, and the fact that you chose at a time when you were walking away, which would only be actually for a couple of months, but where you were having to walk away from the business, that you said, I'm going to do that with you, and I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you that gift of my toughness, of Cactus Jack's toughness. The moments that you and I created are embedded in me. I'll never forget them. Not just in the ring, but moments that we created. You walking down that ramp and switching shirts, and it being a magic moment for me, for you, for many people. One of my favorite opponents of all time, one of my favorite people of all time. Thank you very much for all of it. Randy Orton and Dave Bautista, who I believe is not here. I wish he was. I wanted him to be here. With Rick would stand by my side. And I always, you know, to me, Rick was my hero, greatest of all time. We would form Evolution, which would become something that, in my mind, changed the business. The idea of it was to take two young guys that we thought had everything and give them the opportunity to become stars, if we could make it happen. Along the way, you taught me what it's like to give back. My estrogen checked or something. You taught me the gift of giving back, because watching you and Dave do what you did, watching you and Dave overcome, watching you and Dave become two of the biggest stars this business has ever seen, watching you mature into the man that you are today, the dad, the husband that you are today, watching Dave become the movie star and go on to do the things, leave this to go grind and become something different in another environment, watching the two of you become what you are, and knowing that in some way we just had a whiff of something to do with that. Just stand by your side to watch you become that. It would light a fire in me to do that with others. Thank you for being the pain in the ass that you were. And I mean that, because it helped me for where I am now. Thank you. Along the way, I had a lot of injuries, pretty much torn everything in my body at some point in time and then some. I have to mention Dr. James Andrews, Jeff Dugas, and the rehab specialist, Kevin Wilk. Everything that I tore, they put back on me. Kevin and Dr. Andrews and Dr. Dugas put me back together. Kevin Wilk made it possible for me to return. At times when they would tell me, when I first tore my quad, you're probably never going to wrestle again. They wouldn't let that happen. So I owe them the world because it got me through the rest of my career. They put the pieces back together and taught me how to do the hard work to get to the next level.
Go to the next level.
The creative side for me would come at a different time. I would get the opportunity to sit under the learning tree from '96 forward. I got invited to start coming to production meetings. I didn't have to. I wasn't being paid to. I had to get there hours earlier than everybody else. But I loved it so much that that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to sit in that room and learn from these people, and I would do anything to do it. So I would show up when everybody else had to get there at 1. I would show up at 10, and I would sit in those production meetings and just listen like a sponge to Jack Lanza, to Pat Patterson, to George Steele, to everybody that was in those rooms. They lit that creative fire on me, especially Pat Patterson. Pat was probably, in our generation, my generation and the one slightly before me, was considered the greatest finish guy and the greatest mind maybe in the business of all time. So many times people would teach me stuff and say, Pat taught me this. And then I would get to sit with Pat every day. And he would come to me and say, hey, after the meeting's over, come sit with me in the crowd and let's talk about these next level, these matches that are coming up today. And he would teach me why he was putting together something there. And he would say, man, when you're done in the ring, he said, you feel this. This business is not here, it's here. And not that many people have it here, and you do. And when you're done in the ring, you should do this side of it. He was kind of, and I'll get to the other person in a little bit, but he was kind of one of the people that really encouraged me on the creative side of it, to get into that, to learn more about it, and to explore that. When that sort of led me to the opportunity to build a developmental system. The territories had gone away. We couldn't see the place where the next generation of talent was coming from. And their sort of desire to help me learn would allow me to get into opening up the Performance Center and building NXT. That was one of the most meaningful points in my career. I would sit, now separate from them, I would sit under the learning tree of Dusty Rhodes, and I would have him walk me through his version of booking and how things worked and his view of the business. And I learned an unbelievable amount from that man. My respect for him is next level. But it's where I would work with Matt Bloom, I would work with William Regal, I would work with Terry Taylor, and we would help to create the future. And when I look around here, Sean mentioned it about the next 2 days, and it's all pretty much damn near NXT. It is. And that is an incredible thing for me when I look around this room and see the people that came through there, the younger talent that walked through the door, and it goes all the way back to Roman and Seth and Becky and Charlotte and everybody else, Bailey, Bianca, all coming out of there. You guys inspired me. That place was like the fountain of youth, still is. But your passion and desire at a point in time when you get older in this business and you start to see it differently and you start to get tired and you start to get a little jaded, you guys were pure and honest. It inspired me. All of you did. Inspired me to love this business again. And then I would tag Sean in against his will, like he said. and he would become inspired. It didn't take me long after he came in that first couple of hours to see it, for him to think, this is the fountain of youth. I want this again. It brought back his passion and love for the business. Thank you, guys. It allowed us to create so much, and all of you ensured that this business carries on from there. The people that I work with today, again, that led me through all of this. Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes, where is he? I should be able to spot him. He might have left. He might have left. The batteries were wearing out in his suit. Hopefully he'll watch this later. He's one of the most unique individuals I've ever met, but he's also got one of the biggest hearts I've ever met, of anybody I've ever met. And I tell him this all the time, but he is this generation's Pat Patterson. There is nobody better at what he does. I learned a ton from him, and I continue to this day. There's a bunch of other people that I work with now hand in hand. Bruce Pritchard, he's been here forever. Bruce was always, a lot of times, put into a position where he was not seen favorably because he was between a rock and a hard place of the office and talent, at a time when the office and talent was a direct line, a wall that separated them. And he had to be the liaison with that wall. A lot of people look down on that. The thing I always admired about Bruce is he did it with grace and a dignity towards the talent that I always admired. He's an essential part of what we do today. And I'm thankful to get to work with him on a daily basis. And then there's another guy in the back that I would want to mention is Ed Koski. Ed's been one of the lead writers, and he's a quiet force behind the scenes of somebody that just, there's so many things that have happened in this business that came out of the mind of Ed Koski, so many wonderful things about this business, and he doesn't get the credit for it because he's the kind of person that just sits in the back and does his thing. But I'm incredibly proud and honored to work with him every day, just like I am everybody on our staff and crew. All these people that are making these events happen. The crew, the riggers, the camera guys, the production people. I learn something from each and every one of you. I learn it every day. We cannot do our jobs without you, and I'm so thankful for all of you. You make it possible for us to do our jobs.
Facts. People that hold it down, you know what I mean?
Paul Heyman. You said a couple of years, or last year, at your Hall of Fame ceremony where I sat behind you looking at your wonderful ass the entire evening. You said sometimes a man just has to accept reality. I don't believe that. Sometimes you got to just say, fuck. And you got to create your own. You helped me learn that. You did. Paul has a Hall of Fame ring on his hand. Inside that ring, I had inscribed consigliere. Thank you. The rest of my family, Linda, and it just dawned on me right now how pissed off Sean is in the back because he's got to be at NXT in like 15 minutes. It's part of why I'm going so long.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. I get to pay him back for all those years. My daughters could not have a better example of what a strong, powerful woman is than you. From CEO to the highest levels of giving back to this country, you are an inspiration to them, to staff, to myself. I love you very much. And to Shane, who's not here, but he's the brother I never had. Miss you, Shane. Hopefully we'll see each other soon. Please don't jump off anything incredibly high anytime soon, please.
Put him in the Hall of Fame.
And now there's one thing that I've skirted around all night long, but I've got to talk about it, and that's Vince.
Yeah, man. Fucking deserves it, man. Fuck.
It's a complicated story and a complicated
It
relationship.
is.
But in so many ways, I would not be here without him. Not just in my business life, which would be enough on its own. My career, he's the one that saw something in me creatively, invited me to those production meetings, taught me, let me sit under that learning tree, and encouraged me to sit under the Pat learning tree and continue to learn. But also in my personal life, my family. He wasn't just my boss. He wasn't just a friend. He wasn't just a mentor. He would become my father-in-law. He's my wife, the person I love the most in this world. He's her father. He's my kid's grandfather. So it's complicated. When there's somebody that helps propel you that far, you owe them so much. He taught me so much, what to do, what not to do. I'm grateful for all those lessons. I love you, Vince.
Facts,
Thank
man.
you.
Facts. Thank you, Vince. Thank you.
One person I also want to bring up, because I talked about him briefly, but is The Undertaker. There's no one in this business I respect more than him. He was the measuring stick here. He was the locker room leader when locker room leader meant locker room leader. He was the calm, steady hand. He was the person that I always looked to. I learned so much from him. You had to earn his trust. For a long time, he wouldn't speak to me other than to say hello. Many, many months into that, one night I would be sitting at a bar with the clique, and he would look over at me and give me a nod. And I would walk over to him, and he would put 2 shots of Jack Daniels in front of us. And he would just look at me. And I picked it up. And we drank that Jack Daniels. And I knew well enough to gargle it as well. I proceeded to try not to throw up. But we put the glasses down. He just looked at me, nodded, said, "You're all right." That was the beginning of a friendship. When I would begin a relationship with Steph, that in many ways could have been the end of my career if things didn't work out well. Could have been the end of hers. Could have been the worst thing in the world. But when you're there and you love somebody, you kind of don't have a choice, right? And I was stuck in this rock and this hard place, so what do? Well, the person I went to was Taker. To say, what do I do here? The words he gave me set up the rest of my life. You know who you are. You know what you do. You know what you bring to the table. If you're taking a risk, it's yours to take. But if you love her, go get it. And anybody that doesn't like it, they can.
Facts. Facts. Fuck him.
That changed my life and meant more to me than he will ever know. I don't know. There's a prompter up there that's giving me cues, but now it's off the thing. Okay. I'm getting to the end, I promise. A few years ago, I had a health scare. Went from running crazy and thinking nothing can touch you, doing business. I had been on a run of, 20 days or something like that, going West Coast, East Coast, Orlando, back to West Coast, back to Vegas, back to East Coast. I was running crazy and I started to get sick and I thought I had pneumonia. Kept getting worse. Went to the doctor and I was in heart failure. Like, how does that happen? And not just like, hey, you're having a heart moment here, like your ejection fractures should be around 55, 60. Mine was, by the time I got in there, single digits. I was on the 1 yard line. At that point, your life changes. I see this as a gift now. Taught me things about myself and what was important. And while your passions and the things you go after and the things that you strive to be at the end of the day are just the things you do with the people around you. And it's the people around you that matter. I not once laid there thinking like, holy shit, production meeting tomorrow, or I have a board meeting, or Jesus, I got to get this project done. I got to go do that. All I thought about was Steph and those girls. It was a wake-up call of how to appreciate life. I don't wish any of you to have it, but I wish you learned that lesson because it's incredible. It's a clarity. I work as hard now as I ever did, but I see things differently. The passion that I have for it differently. Little things don't bother me nearly as much as they did. Those little moments where you're just frustrated, things aren't going your way, you feel like this isn't, how can they do this to me, or whatever it is that's going on in your life, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Because this shit can all end tomorrow for anyone.
Facts.
So
speaking
think about
facts,
what's important in your life and embrace it and live it to the fullest. For me, what was important was those three girls and Steph, Aurora, who has been on me all day about you better talk about me. It's all she's been waiting for is me to get to this part. It's hard for me to believe, in my mind, there's still, and Cody, in my mind, there's still tiny little things sitting on my suitcase or my briefcase. Rolling them into the production meeting so they could sing Twinkle Twinkle in front of the most grizzled bunch of miserable men on the planet, and they would all melt because of it. Aurora is now in college, playing softball for Springfield, working towards a doctorate in physical therapy. She's one of the hardest working kids I know, and I'm so incredibly proud of you. Murphy, who is 16, has her license, is about as eclectic as it gets. She rides horses, she paints, she draws, she's incredibly creative, and she also plays on the boys' football team in high school. She's a running back on that team, and when I asked her why she wanted to play football with boys in high school, she said, because I want to prove to myself that I can. It was as simple as that. Take on the world, Murphy. You can do it all. and Vaughn. 14 going on 40. Like she's been divorced twice or something. The fashion icon, telling everybody in the family what to wear. I don't know, it's gonna be a pop star or she loves to sing, she loves to dance, loves to have fun.
14.
You can do anything you want to do in this life. I'm proof of that. Just work your ass off for it. And Steph, people always say this, best friend. I don't know if I can, actually. You're my best friend. You're my rock. You're everything. I could not imagine a better partner, a better mom, a better person to be by my side through all of this. Ups and downs, everything. One word, forever. Not a bad commitment level for a guy who's just trying to get a better spot in his job, right? 20 years later, 3 kids, I'm all in on that. And then the last person, and I swear to God, I'm going home. I want to bring up Nick Khan.
It's late.
And you, Sonny. Sonny's a secret weapon creatively. He comes in, tells me what needs to happen on all the creative as we move forward. He walks in the door, says, Triple, here's what you need to do tomorrow. And then we go from there, right? Known Nick for about a decade. One of the most influential people in my life. The best businessman I've ever met. One of the best human beings I've ever met. One of the best people at reading things and reading people and reading a room and looking at business things. And he will tell you, I swear sometime, he's like a human crazy 8-ball or something like that, where he just has the answers for everything as they're coming in real time. I mean it when I say it, I could not do this without you. And for everybody that's in this room that it all means the world to, because you're just like me. A big part of all of this weekend and everything that is happening in WWE is because of him. Right there. He does not like to be in the spotlight. He does not like to be in the forefront, and he doesn't like to be thanked for it or seen for it. So make sure that you go up to him if you see him at something and bother him because he needs it. But Nick, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I talked about a lot of people and how they influenced me to do something more, to be something more than I ever thought I could be. Because in many ways, tomorrow and Sunday, I'm still just that kid. I'm just not sitting on the couch now. I'm sitting in a chair at gorilla position with a headset on, just watching what I love to watch. Tomorrow I'm gonna get to watch the best athletes on this planet do what they do better than anybody else in the world, in the greatest form of entertainment in the world. And while I'm trying to hide it and not be that little kid and do business, inside, I'm still going to be that little kid. All the people that I've mentioned today help prop that little kid up to be something more. More than just the 14-year-old kid in New Hampshire with a dream. This business hooks you, and when it does, man, for most of us, it's all we ever want to do. When you all leave here tonight, think about that. I don't want to be preachy, but when you leave here, think about how you interact with others. The slightest compliment, the slightest assistance, the slightest nod to them can change their life and make them do something more. The negative comment, the tearing them down, the shooting a hole in somebody's dream or telling them they're not or they can't or whatever that is can have the exact opposite effect. I'm telling you, with everything that I am, when you do the first, when you encourage others, when you help them get their dreams, it is truly the greatest part of my life now, is seeing these kids succeed, helping, try to give back, try to encourage, try to be a positive light in this world. So that everybody can be the best that they can be, and it's the only way to move forward. The last person that I want to thank in this room is all of you. Call it what you want. Call it what you want. Call it fans, call it the WWE Universe, call them marks, I don't care what you want to call them. None of us are anything without you. I sure as hell am nothing without you. You have made this dream possible, whether you loved me or hated me. And it's been up and down all over the place. Feelings mutual, just for you. Thank you to all of you. You've taken a normal kid from New Hampshire's life and made it into a dream that he could never write, ever. And I'm always grateful for that. I promise you that I will do everything in my power, everything that I have, to take this business that we all love and keep it alive for the next generation who will keep it alive when I am gone. I promise you that. I will work my ass off for you. It might not always be great, it might not always be perfect, but I will give you everything that I have, because you made me who I am, and I will never forget it. So to everybody out there, supporters, haters, I do not care. I've got 2 words for you. I was thinking thank you, but I'll go with the suck it. All right. Thank you very much.
Oh man, thank you, Triple H. Thank you. Wish you another 100 more years of greatness. Let's keep it going, man. He deserved that shit all the way. Tonight was his night. All right. I want to appreciate everybody that joined the live, that's subscribing to my channel. I appreciate you guys a lot. If you like the video, smash the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit that bell notification so you know I go live. I'll be live later on tonight for WrestleMania Night 1. So I'll catch you guys later. Peace.